Welcome back to the interactive segment, and Marantur is here. Marantur, are you aware of the Ebola handshake, like that kind of thing? You know, so I don't shake.
You know, Ghanaians, we shake our hands and wait and do this for a very long time. So in fact, no, come let me show you. Like this is mine.
No, this is too much body contact.
You might speak.
Jesus, you might give me Ebola. I like it this way. Come on, that way, Small contact.
Please, we're teaching them how to.
It's not easy, eh? It's scary, but you know, when I look at the fact that there's an emergency in all the other countries, action is being taken. Here in Ghana, we're joking about it.
We're not joking about it. We have a committee.
Really?
Yes.
We're cracking jokes.
No, we have a committee.
It. Look at you and me.
But we have a committee.
Okay.
So this one is not community. It's a health challenge. So the proper committee. So hopefully this committee will bring something great.
This Ebola is scary, isn't it?
It is scary. Wherever you are, welcome to your most interactive half hour on TV. This is JN Interactive, and my name is Marantur. Welcome to your show. So welcome to your show. Let me announce all the tools that you need to get in touch with JN Interactive. Go to Facebook first, like our page, and comment on all the posts we put there. We'll amplify your voice and share what you're sharing with the rest of the world. We are on Twitter. We tweet at Joy News on TV, at JN Interactive GH, and I tweet at MN Ture. 3 Twitter handles ready to retweet your thoughts and share what you are sharing with us with the rest of the world. We are on via email. You can reach us there also. Join us. I am at multitvworld.com. Our WhatsApp number remains 0540109009. And JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. So the World Health Organization says the death toll from Ebola has risen to 729 from 672 after 57 more people died during a 4-day period between July 24 and 27th in Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone and Nigeria. In the same period, 122 new cases have been detected, bringing the total of confirmed and probable infected patients to 1,323. And the toll is the highest in a single outbreak since the virus was identified almost 4 decades ago. And desperate to contain the outbreak, President Ernest Koroma, I think that's how he says his name, of Sierra Leone declared a public health emergency, calling for the deployment of security forces to quarantine the epicenters of infection. And Ebola is trending worldwide. It is grabbing news headlines as we speak and also on social media. And here's an update from the BBC Focus on Africa today.
The death toll from the Ebola outbreak in West Africa has now reached 729. Today, Sierra Leone declared a state of emergency to tackle the spread of the virus, though emergency measures are also being enforced in Liberia. And the United States has just issued an advisory for non-essential travel to Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. Well, some airlines operating within the West African region have suspended flights to affected countries, and at airports on the other side of the continent, passengers are being screened on arrival. Ethiopian Airlines, the national carrier, operates flights between its capital Addis Ababa and a number of cities in West Africa, including Lagos, where 1 person died from Ebola this week. Kenya Airways also flies from Nairobi to Lagos and Monrovia in Liberia and Freetown in Sierra Leone at the epicenter of the outbreak. Well, I'm now joined by our reporters Emmanuel Nigunza in Addis Ababa and Ann Soy in Nairobi. Emmanuel, let's just start with you. I understand that all passengers from Western Africa passing through Ethiopia's international airport are being screened. What else can you tell us?
Well, yes, they have started screening passengers arriving from West Africa. What they are doing right now is that those passengers arriving at the main international airport, the Ebola International Airport, are being taken into a different section where they will undergo screening. A statement from the Ethiopian Airlines say that this will be stringent and specific. So passengers who have any symptoms that are seen to be related to Ebola are taken aside for further testing and screening before they can be allowed into the country. We know that also the ground and the in-flight attendants for Ethiopian Airlines have been given sensitization on how to handle potential victims of Ebola.
And Soy in Nairobi. Within the last few hours, we understand that a Kenyan Airlines plane arriving from Monrovia in Liberia has been isolated on the tarmac of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
That's right. That was in the morning. A Kenya Airways plane was isolated, and that was after the airline crew called the public health officials to tell them that there was somebody who was exhibiting symptoms that could have suggested Ebola. And so the public health officials then advised them to isolate the plane. And this took a couple of hours with the officials then going in and checking each and every passenger, including the one who was suspected to have Ebola. But eventually it was found that the suspected case of Ebola was negative, and so the passengers, after some delay, were finally allowed to go.
So to intensify the fight against the spread of the disease in Ghana, government has established an interministerial committee on Ebola, and the team hopes to establish 3 isolated centers in Accra, Tema and Kumasi to handle patients under surveillance from the deadly virus by close of this week. They will also supervise the work of an existing technical team made up of representatives from multiple state agencies and intensify surveillance at all borders, equip health facilities with the needed resources to manage a possible outbreak. These measures, among several interventions, were announced at a news conference held today.
We entreat all institutions to minimize mass gatherings that would necessitate the convergence of individuals from different places in the sub-region as we remain in this high alert phase. Any mass gathering, particularly if it involves people from affected communities moving across borders to attend such conferences in the country, poses a serious security threat.
By the end of the week, at least 3 designated facilities which shall be cover the southern zone, the middle zone, the northern zone, and based at Accra Tema area, and then Kumasi and Tamale will be ready for us specifically to use for Ebola. We have managed about 24 suspected cases, and these cases have tested negative. These cases were not managed in the midst of other conditions. We provided some form of isolation whilst we manage these cases within the health sector to make sure that we don't contaminate ourselves, we don't transmit the the disease from one person to another, and also not to contaminate the environment.
So that is what they are saying. If you're just joining us, we're treating Ebola. This week, Ebola has been trending on JN Interactive, if I can call it that. It's actually been trending the world over. It's actually grabbed world media headlines, and it's trending on social media everywhere else. How can we fight this? And at this moment, the World Health Organization says that the death toll has actually risen from 729 to 672 to 729 after 57 more people died during a 4-day period between just this week, July 24th to 27th, and that is in Guinea, in Liberia, and also in Sierra Leone and Nigeria. And in the same period, 122 new cases have also been detected, bringing a total of the confirmed infected patients to 1,323, and that is very alarming indeed. And apparently they're saying that the toll is the highest in a single outbreak since the virus was detected everywhere in the world in the last 4 decades. So 40 years, this year's outbreak is the worst so far. What is accounting for all of that? And desperate attempts to contain the outbreak has led the president in Sierra Leone to actually say that, hey, I'm declaring a public health emergency, to call for the deployment of security forces to quarantine all the epicenters, and places that have been affected by all of this. And here in Ghana also, just to intensify the fight against the disease, government has decided to set up an interministerial committee on Ebola, and that was unveiled today, if I can call it that. And the team is actually hoping that it would set up 3 isolated centers in Accra, in Tema, and also in Kumasi to handle patients, who are suspected to have the Ebola virus, and they would also, survey them and make sure that this deadly virus is not, going anywhere by end of this week. And we have been out there to ask your view about what is happening. And first of all, on the issue of the setup of the task force, the ministerial committee on Ebola. I know that when we hear committees, we greet these committees with probably a smirk and a smirk on our faces and say, hello, another committee. What is this committee going to do for us? But this is a health challenge. And so we've been asking you, is this appropriate? Do you think we need this committee at this particular moment in time? Let's take our first video blog on that.
It's more or less one of the killer diseases that is coming in the system, and if we are not able to siege it as early as possible, it's going to cause a lot of harm to us. And as I'm seeing it, we have not even had a cure to do that. There need to be a research and all that kind of things to ensure that it is prevented from entering in our country.
I think it's very necessary. The reason I'm saying this is that Ebola is a very dangerous disease, as we all know. It can kill you within 3 days. It's very bad. So I think this committee will really help. Will really help in such a way that, especially we should think about our border side. Like those who work at the borders, our immigration, and those who work over there. They should be very careful. They should screen. When somebody is coming to our town, they should screen the person, whereby they will find out the person is having or not before the person comes. Because when it comes like this, we here, especially when it's time for football, you can see we enjoying so much, shouting, hugging each other and things. So if this thing is in our country here, I think most percent of Ghanaians will be well affected. So I want this community to be very, very effective, because it's a very dangerous. It's more than AIDS.
Oh, the committee would be very necessary. In a sense, if, for instance, the Ministry of Interior, you go collaborate with the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health. So say that sickness no more there. You don't know how it go free drop come the country inside. You understand? I go free give you the sickness right now. You don't go know how the virus will transmit. Somebody will come the country inside. If you come the country inside, the next day it go free spread.
For now, I don't know. I think committee will be the best.
It's not so necessary, to set a committee about this sickness, disease, virus, killing people all the time. And you want to set a committee, then the whole Ghana will die.
As a matter of fact, I don't know anything about Ebola, so I can't talk anything about it. I don't know anything. That sickness they are talking about, I don't know anything about it.
So right now, that committee that has been set is saying that we should avoid going to places where there are lots of crowded.
Okay. The gentleman said he didn't know about Ebola, so perhaps I should take it upon myself to educate us about Ebola, that there is a disease out there, a virus is spreading, and it's called Ebola, and it can be transmitted through contact with people who already have it, and bodily fluids and stuff like that. Apparently, it is not airborne, and so if I have Ebola and I talk you can't get it. You get what I mean? So it's not something that is airborne, but it just comes fluid and stuff like that, body cuts and stuff. So when I have Ebola, I'm using myself as an example here because you guys are all far removed from this. If I have Ebola and then you come into contact with me, you don't wear protective clothing, and then you come in contact with, let's say, my saliva or a cat or anything, it means that the virus which I have can now be transmitted to you. As it now, what the health experts are telling us is that for 40 years, 4 decades of this Ebola, they have not been able to identify a cure for it. And so once you are infected, it means that your likely end will be death. You will die, automatic. And so the idea now is for you to prevent it rather than catch it, because you cannot cure it. And so what they're also advising us to do now is try to wash your hands as much as possible. You may greet people, they may be elderly, and so you cannot just say that when an elderly woman or man sends a hand, reaches out a hand to you, you're going to push it back. You can't do that in other communities, in other countries. I mean, it's not rude for someone to reach out their hand and you say, no, I don't want to shake you. But this is Africa. In Africa, you say, I don't want to shake you. That carries something else. So perhaps you will shake the person. But once you're through shaking the person, make sure you wash your hands with soap and water. To be doubly sure, if there's something like that, you can use sanitizer also. And so once you wash your hands with soap and water, clean it under running water, because a bowl of water with the virus in there, then it means that you also pick it and then give it to someone else. Under running water, which no one else would come into contact with. And the idea is also that we will keep our surroundings clean, okay? So we are linking Ebola to cholera. We will keep our surroundings clean and avoid certain things that would make us catch the disease. The virus, it is a viral infection. In our second video blog, we've been asking what pragmatic measures you are putting in place so that you don't contract it. So after this education that I've given you, we wanted to find out pragmatic steps you're putting in place. Let's take our next video blog.
It's good that if they have committee, it's good. If somebody have some, then they know how to do the research fast.
They should focus on the preventive measures. We need to prevent it. We need to take measures, especially on our boundaries, to prevent people who are even the countries that have it when people are entering in our nation. We need to prevent them from coming.
Concentrate on the borders. You understand? So right now, it has not been said, say some Ebola patients, the GH or something like that.
Ebola virus is increasing in terms of West African sectors and so forth. So they must do something about it. I can't really tell, but they must do something about it.
It's not needed. It's not needed. They have to just help the doctors so that they can fix the problem and then help our patients, those who are dying with the disease, those who are dying about the disease. That's more important than setting a committee. That one there is not needed. Okay. The committee is not needed. Everything Ghana, committee, it's not needed.
So we are still on the committee. You know, it's already been set up, whether you like it or not, it's been set up. So we are asking you what you would want them to focus on. Okay, they could be focusing on so many other things to say, okay, preventative care is more appropriate right now because obviously prevention is better than cure. But what areas would you want the committee to focus on so that you can measure them and say, hey, I think they've done well because they're focusing on that and they are measurable? Let's take our next video blog.
No, it will not.
Yeah, it prevents me. Even right now, even today from work, as I was going to work, I was just thinking not to mingle with people because I can't bear it when I conceive those things.
For me, like this, it's not going to prevent me going to places or going to some places. Just that we should be careful. Yeah, when you go to some place, you have to be careful and then know how you do your things so that you don't get effect.
I think there was a mix-up there, and that one was actually asking whether you would mingle with people. You would go to places where there are crowds, because the committee was also advising that you try and avoid crowded places. So would you do that? But in our final video blog, we are asking if perhaps Ghana should also close our borders. There are hints that something like that has already happened, but not to alarm people. Would you rather government actually makes sure that we secure all our borders so that people do not even come in, let alone go out, and then bring the disease in? We'll take a final comment. When I come back, Steve will join me, and then we can wrap up the show together. Don't go away.
I haven't seen it, but I have watched it, and I've heard people saying it. So we have not experienced it in the country. So what we need to do is to prevent it. We must not allow it to enter into the country, so that we will not be fearing of interacting with others.
They should close the border because it's very dangerous. So I saw it on net. The way I saw it, I was devastated because it hurts me to see those things. It's a very dangerous thing. Our borders need to be closed. Serious.
You go close your border. Your economic crisis no good. You go close your border. How money will come the country inside? Make no time you say I go think of money and I go die. The economy no good. So you close your borders. Money not the country inside. Right now where you go get money for? Things so happy they go. What did they talk about? Ebola, so of Ebola you won't die. Whether Ebola or no Ebola, you go die.
So that's where we drop the curtains on today's show. We were having a little bit of technical challenges, so I couldn't bring you some comments today. But tomorrow, hopefully, everything will be sorted, and I can pick all your comments. And in fact, tomorrow, I think I'll dedicate more time to your comments just to make up for today. Thank you so much for understanding. Steve is back. We can wrap up on today's Ebola-tastic Thursday together.
You didn't tell me you wanted comments. I could have provided you lots of them.
Okay, start with one comment. What's your comment?
I'm afraid of Ebola.
Of Ebola. Next comment.
Ghana must get its act together.
And the next one.
I'm tired of Ebola.
And then the next one.
Let's wrap up. That's the next one.
Those are your comments for today.
Those are my comments for today. My name is Steven Antia. We're always grateful to hang out with you on today's Big Story and Interactive segment.
Yes, and my name is Marian Ture. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a fabulous Thursday. See you same time tomorrow.
Good evening.
Good evening.